चीज को highlight.
And in order to encourage parties to go into mediation, what we have decided now is to train as many judges as mediators, and also the officials in the High Court and the Supreme Court who are law graduates, who will be willing to conduct mediation in their own pay scales. In the Supreme Court, already have had 2 gentlemen trained as mediators. They are now accredited from the research cell. There is a training program being started by the Ministry of Law on Monday. 2 more are going to be trained. And by the end of this year, I hope to take the number to at least a dozen, so that parties who cannot afford to pay for the mediators are referred to the mediation center, which will be housed in the Supreme Court free of cost, for mediation to be conducted free of cost. I remember when Ms. Sara Taror was appointed as a mediator, and she successfully mediated a case which went on for years on end. And then there was another case when we wanted to appoint a mediator, and my Chief Justice said, why not appoint her again? I said, no, sir, and I'm sorry for that. I said, no, sir, if you're going to appoint her, you will have to pay her. You cannot be expecting mediators to work pro bono. Yes, they can do it once, they can do it twice, but not in every other case. Because mediation, I tell you, is also a very lucrative part of the profession. When you will see that when cases are referred, commercial cases will be referred. And in the commercial cases, there is a very high stakes for the mediator. Abroad, especially in Singapore, there is a certain percentage of the settlement amount that is set aside for the mediator's payment. This will happen in Pakistan, and I'm very confident that it will. But we are at the nascent stage. Do remember, our journey has started in 2022. In Turkey, it started in the year 2013, and by 2022, they had 3 million cases decided through a process of mediation. 3 million is a lot. When asked this time, last week, that what is the number, they said it is 9 million. 9 million is a staggering figure to decide through a process of mediation. In Pakistan, the total number of cases, including in the Supreme Court and the High Court, is 1.82 million. That is a very large number for the number of judges that we have to humanly cater for. So therefore, the alternative dispute resolution mechanisms have to be adopted to address this issue. Before leaving, there is one other aspect that needs to be discussed, which is the talk of mandatory mediation. We have to be very careful about it. There is a draft bill that I have had the sight of, prepared by the Ministry of Law, which has the effect of including Section 3A in our Alternative Dispute Resolution Act of 2017. And that schedule will list the laws or the types of cases that have to be mandatorily referred to mediation. We have to bear in mind that there are certain laws, like for example, the rent restriction ordinances, for example, family laws, for example, suits on negotiable instruments, and so on and so forth, which require the courts to resolve them expeditiously. By making referrals of these disputes to mediation can have a counterproductive effect. It may take longer than it would have taken for the courts to decide. So we have to be very careful that mediation, instead of becoming a time-saving device, does not become a time-consuming device. But yes, the experiment of mandatory mediation can start off with fewer laws, because we do have a large number of accredited mediators as lawyers and in different other professions, but the number is not so large to deal with mandatory mediation. So this is something over which I would like to caution the Ministry of Law that if you intend making a list, please do not make it very long and do not make it such that has the effect of mediation becoming a time-consuming device. Thank you so much.
Pakistan